I sound good.
hmm I might check, might check.
Mic check.
So we are live. It is
Awesome.
official. Let's actually do that. Mic check and check this sound. All right, say something for me.
Hey, check one, check two.
Oh, there we go. We're good. We are good to go. All right, but
Awesome.
I can hear myself chew, so I got to put that up. All right. All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Journey Through Consciousness. And today we're gonna come back. We're coming back to you with the episode on basically understanding, being more self-aware, understanding what's going on around you, how you're being perceived, how the things that you do affect you, and then from there, basically just going into like how you have to keep working at this concept, keep working for, keep having it work for you, so that you can trudge through that mud, as from that word that
Absolutely.
we were trying to figure out a better one, but really I think that that word kind of encapsulates it in ways that other words don't. And although it may be an old word or a word that you don't quite use, I think it really hammers home the point that what you're working on is something that's going to be long term, something that's just very, very detailed, and it's just a long process. So anyway, what I want to do now is let's say hi to Luna. How are you today?
Hey, glad to
Um,
be here. Yes.
yes. So I'm glad you're here too, and this being this journey that we're gonna lead everybody through, this consciousness journey that we're working to lead everybody through. I kind of gave my little intro to it, but do you have anything that you think is the first opening point?
Absolutely. Our choices, what we're paying attention to, drives our reality. And I definitely want to hone in on that. Um, why am I making this choice? Why am I paying attention to this? Like
Yes.
asking myself questions like why am I reacting to this way?
Yes. Absolutely.
What's going on here? Why did this situation rock me the way that it just did? Or why am I not grasping something? And a lot of times I find I'm in my own way, um, or there's some sort of wound or shadow area that I may not become aware of, and that's why people and enemies, they say, are our greatest teachers, because that's the person
Yes.
that's going to trigger me the
Yes.
most. And
Yes.
if I'm on the journey of through consciousness, that's the person that's going to be able to reveal to me
Yeah.
the emotions I need to
That's
look
exact.
at,
Yeah.
the different things that I'm experiencing when I'm around this person. Okay, I don't like the way this person. Okay, they're rejecting me. A lot of times, though, when we're beginning this journey, it's difficult because we're feeling these things, but we're not quite sure what it is we're feeling. It's like I just feel like horrible around this person, or I don't really understand why I'm upset with this person. And we want to be aware of why we're feeling the way we're feeling, why we're thinking the way we're thinking, and what to do about that, and not practice any fake positivity and all that. Like this is real looking in and
Looking within.
conquering and
Yep.
facing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that brings you brought up multiple points that we could go into, but one of the ones that I like the most is like the mirror, as is brought up is the mirror. Like, so you can have and this is definitely one that I can relate to most, and especially most recently. You can have a partner that you have in your life that is the reflection, um, and that person can show you things that you've never thought that was an issue or a problem, and it doesn't come, and it's not from what could be fake or anything like that. This person is genuinely going to show you what you need to see, and it's up to you to see it. And that's where the real reflection comes in, because if you do not take that time to see what's being shown to you, then you'll stay oblivious to it. And then that's where these sayings like you took a blind man and made him see, and that's the type of thing that you do where somebody's just so oblivious that they're literally blind to the facts that are sitting there right in front of them, ready to smack them in the face. But yet, because they can't see it, they're just blind and oblivious, and not being able to see, not being able to have awareness of your soul or your presence or anything like that means that you radiate out um, whatever it is feeling that you have, whatever you're going for, like that is what you radiate and what you project out into the world. And not understanding that means that when you keep getting results that you don't like, you can never understand why. Where you say, oh, I changed this or I changed that, but you never changed what mattered in the situation, and that was something within yourself that you have yet to see, because you haven't done that inner work, that self-reflection, or done that mirror work. As you see, I have mine here
Hmm.
next to it because of that mirror work. And it was funny because we were talking about it earlier, and we were like, hey, the mirror's got to go, and I was like, it's got to go for the set, and I understand why it should go, but it won't go because of what it means. And that reflection has to be in the set, whether it's what I want to be, it's what is there, and I have to accept what's there. So when I'm sitting here and I'm reflecting, that's where it needs to be.
Oh, I love when you said, I have to accept what is there. And that drives me into another point. And that is allowing myself to be. Um, we're all made up of both masculine and feminine energy. And learning how to balance those is wonderful. A lot of times I'm operating out of my masculine energy so I can get things done,
Yeah.
keep that drive up. But tapping into the being, being where I'm at, accepting what is what is.
Mhm.
Okay. And that's something that was a hard concept for me at first, was acceptance,
Yeah.
because I misconstrued acceptance for, well, you hear someone say, I just can't accept that. I can't
Mhm.
accept that. Acceptance doesn't mean I'm not going to do anything about it. And reality is, once I accept it, it's going to enable me to take action
Right.
to do something about it. But as long as I'm wasting time fighting reality, paying attention to what is not, and trying to force a square down a circle, oh, that kid game where
Yeah.
just, okay, this is the reality right now. Okay, I can accept that. Now what can I do, and what action can I take?
Mhm. Yeah, that square peg down a round hole is something for real. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Get her.
And that frustration that you see when a baby does that is that same frustration that you feel inside when whatever you're doing is just not working for you. And sometimes that is really when you have to sit back and say, look, man, like this can't be working for me, because if it was, I would not be getting the same result that I've been getting. And that's when I think that the next step that you have to do is just ask yourself the right questions. And this would be a theme that you hear me say and do a lot, but like you have to ask yourself the right questions, because if now we realize that whatever's not changing is you, or whatever has a reflection of you, or even let's say that you're not the problem, but at some point there's a decision that you made that puts you back into the problem. So even if you're not
Oh,
a
that's right.
problem, you still have part of the problem. And the problem is you don't make the right choice for when it comes to the right thing. And so even myself, like I have the same problems. Just because I may be able to pick the right path in certain areas doesn't mean I pick the right path in all areas. And when I really started to think about that concept, is that that's when it hit me that it was like I am making mistakes and picking some of these things in my life, and I really got to think about it. So, I sat back and said, like, all right, when I make the right decision, what would it be? When I'm trying to go through the choices of what would work for me, what does work for me? Um, like, what have we seen that worked for me? What hasn't worked for me? Like, what is it that I never want to do again? And it really makes you think. So like what just hit me, and I was trying to decide whether I actually want to say it or not, but
Go ahead.
it's a funny one because you know that song, I think it's Ariana Grande, Thank You Next. So I've seen a lot of YouTubers cover that, like about like trying to chastise like women of having too many partners or whatever, like Thank You Next, like. But when you really think about it from the perspective that I just gave, and then you think about that song again, you really can't have any other concept. Like, I think that's an elevated thought that most people didn't get because they didn't get there. But it's just really like, yeah, I learned that, so thank you. You know what I mean? Because you can only
Yes.
look at it one way. You're not going to be able to take back everything that you did that was wrong. You're not going to be able to take back your choices. So at the end of the day, you can either say thank you and take that lesson, or you can not learn and keep going and going and going. But either way, it's still thank you next. And at the same
Yes, it
time,
is.
and it hit me. It was funny because I was just thinking, I was just sitting back relaxing, thinking. I mean, I'm sitting here, just doing my thought process, just really reflecting, and I'm like, man, I really understand that song now. Like, yeah. Anyway.
Absolutely. Because, well, we all have our specific paths. And, one of my beliefs is that we're in the, and this is just for me, but this is the learning planet, and I'm here to grow my soul. So,
Mhm.
um, whatever journey that I'm on, and also, the karma and the dharma, and just different things like that, different things that are passed down through the bloodline, things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, we never know what somebody's path is and why they're having to go through that and why they're
Yeah.
having to meet specific things. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes things don't hit the parents and it hits the child, and the child's got to go through these things now because so and so did this. And but
Absolutely.
and it's not to blame that, it's just part of the process.
Yep.
And I know, with that is such a key, is learning from. I'm going to tell you right now, when someone comes into my life, I'm like, why are you here? That's what I'm thinking to
Mhm.
myself, like, why are you here?
I
You
need to
know,
learn that. I
mm-hmm.
really.
Because a lot of
Yeah.
times, and I don't mean to
Mm.
steer off into like a relationship conversation, but like, I think a lot of times, we perceive like, okay, so you have a connection, and it's whether, regardless of,
Yeah. Yeah.
however you want that connection, right? But you have a connection, and it's like immediately thinking this is romantic.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessary. Let's open our minds a little bit. Not
Mhm.
every connection that is strong is supposed to be romantic,
Mhm.
and it can be very spiritual, but just not, you just never know.
Yeah.
So that's something, that's that awareness as well, is like, hey, why is this person here, and what is this person trying to teach?
Yeah, here
What is
to
this
teach
teaching
me.
me?
Yeah, why is this
Yeah,
person in my life and what are they here to teach me? Like, I do
teach me
think so.
boundaries.
Yeah, because there's some people
you
that are
know
here to teach you a lot of things. Some can teach you about yourself, some can teach you about your bad habits. there's a lot, there's some things that people could be there to teach. So yeah.
Yeah. And then and I want to share that it is difficult when you do become conscious
Yeah.
as far as consciousness goes,
It
because
does.
especially
It
in
does. Yeah.
relationships, okay, because you're going to see everything.
Everything.
Okay. And it's
Yeah.
not, I had to learn that it's not my job to rip that blanket off of somebody so
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, have I? Yes, because especially in romantic relationships, I can be
Yeah.
quick to say it's this, this, and this, and this. And like, so, just being mindful that allowing people to unfold as they need
Yeah.
to.
Yes. Yeah, I if any lesson that my life needs the most would probably be is putting the people in the right category sometimes, like when it comes to relationships, just being like, hey, oh, you're not supposed to be here, or you're too
Mhm.
close, or you need to be further away. That's definitely something where it's like I need more of that Heisman in my life. Like, yeah, no thanks.
Well,
I
and then it's
really,
like, why am I not repelled by this?
I
That's
should
another
be.
thing.
There's a lot
As
of
much
things
as
where
I'm in love, go ahead, Yamel.
no, I'm just feeling here. I'm just,
But like,
uh,
that's something I am, there's things that it's like,
mm,
okay, I say I love myself. I say I know my worth, okay? But this person, can be treating me like absolute, and I'm
mm-hmm.
not repelled by it.
Yeah,
Why is that? Why am I still, there's an attachment issue.
mm-hmm.
hmm
Yeah,
There's probably some sort of attachment issue, or it could be something else, but there's probably something in the shadow
yeah.
that we're seeking,
This is,
right?
yeah,
And we need to look at that because it's like, there's no way
yeah.
this is normal, whatever normal is.
Yeah, so all right, so with that being said, with all the things that we talked about today, because these we don't want them to get too long, but what would you say are the questions that you should ask? What are the things that you should work on to actually fix this so that progress can be made?
Okay, well, first, you see the quotes online, you hear these sayings, and they say, love yourself first. You get to know yourself, but you hear love yourself first, and then it's like get to know who you are,
Hmm.
what aligns with you, what you don't like. And I'm talking about get you like a journal.
Yeah.
This is my suggestion, but like get you a journal, you are on your tablet. But okay, so
You know
how
what I'm
do I
saying? Get
feel?
you gotta get the book.
Yes. How do I feel, or how does this make me feel, regardless of societal norms, programming, and conditioning? With my parents out of my brain, without the chaos in my brain, but what everybody told me to be, what is truly aligned with me?
Yeah. I think that's a good
Okay.
point to put in that trudge through your feelings until you make it to the end, and then you have that firm understanding of your feelings.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And
Okay.
and so that's one thing that, okay, what does this mean to me?
Mhm.
Without, okay, and then you'll start becoming aware. Well, that's what it means to my mother.
Yeah.
That's what it means to, okay. And so
Mhm.
as we begin to understand what aligns with ourselves and becoming, aware,
Yep.
then we can step out, and then we can't be angry, or we can be, but like
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like
You could be. Yeah.
we get duped in friendships and all that stuff. It's like, well, they wore a mask, well, they were mirroring what they thought I wanted them to be, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I want you to be who you are, not who you think I want you to be. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like different.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have to, this is something I have to work on. It's like, they're not, it's okay that, they're just not there yet. Not
Right.
saying that I'm better, but like, if I look at it with that perception that this is where they are
Yeah.
in their process and in their path, I feel
Yeah. I
it
mean, you
gives
can
me more
understand that. Like, yeah, meet
grace and
people where
compassion.
they are. That's why they say. That's why
Yeah,
they have that saying, "Meet people where they are,"
right. And
because
it's difficult sometimes
and
to meet me where I am.
that's true. And then that also will let you know when it's time to let that person go. Because if they cannot meet you where you are, or where you need them to be, or where you can both meet, if there is no meet point, then it is time for both of you to just split from that.
Right. And it's like, because the reason why we talk a lot about relationships, because what is it that we deal the most with? And what teaches us
The
probably the
most,
most?
yeah. I
It's
mean,
human connection.
it is. It's crazy because I was laughing. I was listening to the the basically the rising from the spiritual app that I have, and the lady who was reading was like, let's be honest, that's what most people care about. And I laughed. I was like, yeah, that's most people's life. Like that's what you're living for, to create whatever relationship that takes you to the end of life. That's what most people want, is what they're seeking. That's their greatest dream and everything else. And if it isn't their actual relationship with their mate or partner, it's the relationship with their child. But either way, that's what most people are wanting. That's the greatest thing. So when you use that as examples, it only makes sense, and it's
Absolutely.
relatable to everybody.
And you'll notice too, like, I know for me, like the tarot community and everything, like they want love readings, they want, and that's understandable. I get
Yeah,
it because there's a lot of things, we want to, people want to know what's the undercurrent, like what's going on. They're not talking to me, they're
yeah.
avoidant, they're this,
My
and it's like, let's talk about it.
my final point that would be on that, or the last thing that that person needs to do, is control your flesh. That would be a
Hmm.
whole new topic, right? It could do a whole video in itself. But the one thing that's gonna make you control that, which you were just talking about, is just being able to be like, hold on, let me wait. Let me just wait a little bit longer for whatever connection I think I'm about to get. Because I can almost certainly guess that whatever connection that you found that fast was flesh based. It was probably
Right.
not whatever, but it could be, probably isn't. So yeah, that's
It could grow into that. Who knows? But I will tell you this, and now, um, the the more I journey through consciousness, the less I need to have to know
oh
immediately.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, because
You
I
can let
needed
it
to know
play out.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I don't want to know, sometimes let me be surprised because, I've awakened so much and it's
hmm
like I know things and I see it. It's like, it's kind of nice. I'm
yeah.
not saying, you know what I mean?
That's
It's
another
like,
topic. Yeah.
yeah,
Let's see. I'm gonna write that. We were talking about having these notebooks, but yeah, that
yes.
is another topic.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
there we
I
go.
just,
I had to
and
add
I
that on.
notice the more I grow, the less I think I know because I keep getting surprised. Like, as soon as I think I know something, oh, there's a whole new twist and take, right? So
Yeah.
it's really neat.
I
It's neat.
sometimes I
It's,
wouldn't say it's like the more you don't, because they hear that saying too. The more I learn, the more I realize what I don't know. But I would always say, if you just reword it, it doesn't sound as bad. I would say that the more you understand, the more aspects you understand matter, or the more
oh, I love
reflections
that.
matter. And
Yes.
you realize that, like, for example, I would, so if that analogy, or if that's not getting it, if that explanation doesn't do it, just think of it like this: like, the more that you learn ingredients, the more that you realize that the ingredients that you're using can manipulate taste this way, and if you switch it out for another one, you learn, oh, that did matter, right? Although
Yeah.
it's a similar substance, this one has this different trait, so it changed it a lot. And so that same thing happens like the more you start learning, you're like, oh, like for me, I've just gotten this obsession with welding. So like everything in my room is welded. But one thing you realize is like you go to
Mm.
strike and you want to weld, but you realize that if you hold it at this angle, it changes. If you hold it at this, and the more you realize, you're like, oh, there's only 7 angles. Then you're like, well, technically, if you hit it that way, if you're welding, you know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of things like you shouldn't do it, but you can, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, and they say that you can't, but in certain situations, what if you had to weld something that was above you? And my point is that the more you realize, the more that's what happens from that beginner intermediate, like as you're going beginner junior intermediate and everything like that. As you step up, you realize that the absolutes that you were taught down here are not absolute at all, and the more
Right.
you learn, the more you're just like, hey, there's more to this. Yeah.
Yes. Reminds me of the Star Wars. Only Siths speak in absolute.
That's not.
Are you a Sith? I'm joking.
Hmm. But
But
they just
yeah,
know each other.
so
I don't know, honestly, with that concept, they know each other. You know what I mean? Like you can spot a
mm-hmm.
path, can spot a path, so that's cool. Well, anyway, if we do keep going, we should stop and restart so that we can do part two. And if you want to, I'm down. But for now, I think we should close out.
Okay, sounds good to me.
All right. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for taking this journey with us. This was episode 2. Just understanding yourself, understanding that reflection, and then just being able to see what's going on, and then be able to make those changes and reflect in what's going on so that you can make better changes. So just keep trudging through those feelings, ask those right questions, and make those changes. And if there's anything else you want to know, contact us, reach
Yes.
out, and also we'll be quite involved in the chat. So that's all we have for you today. Have a great one.
Have a good one.